Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the program today, the Republican primary for governor in 06 is pretty crowded, and the Democratic primary just got a little bit more crowded. Randi Thompson has the rundown.
Well, the latest entrant into the Democrat race for governor is Henderson Mayor Jim Gibson, not to be confused with Jim Gibbons, because I'm already confused by it. We'll shed some light on it coming up next.
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Susan Fisher, John Gwaltney, and Verita Black Prothro. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
Corporations moving to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center require reliable power, fiber optic communication, and clean water sources. And yet, there's another amenity we're very proud of here at TRI, rail service. So far, we've built over 2 miles of railroad track, and another 3.6 is under construction. When companies need to transport freight, we're going to help them move it quickly and efficiently. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The resort at Red Hawk offers you 2 great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fish, chicken dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving crisp lunch and dinner. The resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
As an employer, did you know you can be held liable for negligent hiring? A background screening by Employer Links can uncover criminal records, like alcohol and drug convictions. It can verify the applicant's education, driving records, and professional licenses. Employer Links can check civil records, registered sex offender records, and Social Security fraud. Hiring the right person shouldn't be a gamble. Call Employer Links. Employer Links, protecting your investment.
My family started this business 27 years ago.
We work hard to serve our customers and our community.
But it's getting harder and harder to keep the doors open.
For example, our workers' comp is going through the roof. Isn't anyone on my side anymore?
The Retail Association of Nevada is. If you're a small business owner, we can cut your workers' comp by up to 50%, lobby for your interests, and keep you informed. Put us to work today.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, State Senator Dina Titus was feeling pretty lonely in the Democratic primary, so Mayor of Henderson, Jim Gibson, decided to get into the race. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
The last time we talked, you were running for re-election as Mayor of Henderson. And I asked you at the time if you planned to run for governor, and you said no, that you had a lot of things that you still wanted to accomplish in Henderson. What has changed, and how should the folks in Henderson feel about you at this point saying, I'm not going to do this now?
Well, I hadn't decided to run, and I did feel the need to stay on in Henderson and not mix the two. We've had a couple of things that are really significant that are almost complete. They're not entirely complete, but we have annexed 2,000 acres of land. It has been sold. We have been through the planning process, and this is the first really expansion into the BLM land of significance other than maybe the Del Webb age-restricted community development that we did. This was important because we had opted not to do the land sale earlier, and we instead studied the issue of what does it take for growth to pay for growth, and what kind of mix in the development do you require. And this was the first time we would have had a sale and then a negotiation with a successful bidder in order to see if we can't make that those findings a reality. And I think we've about done that. We haven't got all the commercial planned, but the principal parts of that development have been negotiated, and it took a long time to do it. In fact, they closed that transaction months before they had entitlement, which is a real act of faith. But we worked together through it, and that was probably the most significant thing that we were facing.
If you figured out how growth pays for growth, you should be governor, because that's the biggest, I think, the biggest factor facing Nevada right now.
You know, I think that the point is you have all kinds of mixes of zoning and uses. There are some that cost a lot more to serve, and others that don't cost as much to serve. The question is what kind of a mix works, and we've had a lot of success in building neighborhoods and building homes, but they require a whole lot more than certain other kinds of development, and multifamily has its own demand, and commercial and industrial. We needed to know better what the mix needed to be, and I think we've achieved that, at least in this development. Now, you know, have we solved the problem? I'm not prepared to apply for a copyright or a patent yet on what we've done.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the governor's race. Dina Titus has been out there beating the bushes here. Richard Perkins stepped out of the race. Why are you running for governor? And why do you think you're a better choice for the Democrats than Dina Titus?
Well, clearly, I've had the experience of dealing with the issues from the beginning through the proposal of a piece of legislation, through the working to implement it, then to regulate with it, and to change it if it needs to be changed. I think that in terms of experience for the job, I think that a mayor's job really comes closer than any other I can think of. When it comes to my view of the issues that are important to our state, I think I have been really active, even though I don't really have any direct responsibility for some of them as the mayor. You take education, for instance. It's something that has been paramount in our city, and I have been really active when it comes to educational issues. Now, I haven't been
So you're also running against the minority leader, the Senate minority leader. And so yeah. she has also got the experience of taking legislation all the way through. She's actually a professor, so I would say she has experience. And I'm just
I'll respond to that because I think that I think it's important to note what I think the difference is. You know, we don't have people bring us anything. No one asks me to sign on to anything. We have to deal with the issue that is presented to us and try and figure out how we're going to react to it. In the case of a legislator, whether they come up with the solutions that they propose or not, a legislator has the responsibility to do their best to try and predict how the intersection of the legislation and the problem will help bring about a solution. Beyond that, there is no role. They get a report periodically. They study things in committees. Our job is to formulate the legislation, and we have to live every single minute. We have to regulate it after it's law. We have to enact and implement. And I think that that's a big difference. I really think that when you get right down to the experience factor, the executive level interaction that we have at the local level is far more than they have at the legislative level. That's my view.
Well, there's a school of thought that legislators don't make good administrators. You don't see a lot of U.S. senators running for president that are successful because there are two different schools of thought there and two different actions that are involved.
Okay,
he's chomping now.
Well, no, I would certainly have to disagree with you. I was interested. Well, go ahead.
Well, no, I was in your announcement. Jane Ann Morrison's article had you quoted as saying, "Just as I fought to hold the line on property taxes in Henderson, I will fight to hold the line on taxes for the people in Nevada." And in that, have you looked at some of the proposals that you would do as governor specifically? Would you equalize the payroll tax, lower the burden on banks, and equalize the payroll tax? Have you looked at some of the taxes you would try to either hold or even bring down?
Well, we're going to be talking about all of that as we establish our policy for taxation, but I will tell you that it'll all be driven by my view that we don't need to tax further today. And that's important.
But could you if you start out from your question?
Well, you know, I know about the issues that you've discussed, and I know that the impact has been devastating in some quarters. My view is that what I need to know better, maybe is the best way to say this, is what the real impact, the dollar impact to, for instance, the banks has been, given the way that they're required to pay the fees for their branches. But having said that, I think that it's really important that we're fair to all the industries. You know, we're never going to compete in a global marketplace unless we thrive here. And that means that we can't just do deals for businesses that are coming into this state. We need to make sure that the businesses that are already here are treated fairly. The other thing that we need to be able to do is we need to improve our educational pool here so that we compete successfully for the businesses that will change that dynamic. So I think that the business piece of this thing is extremely important.
All right, let's take a break, come back. We have a lot more with Jim Gibson, Mayor of Henderson and candidate for governor on the Democratic side. We'll be right back.
For a videotape copy of any Nevada Newsmakers program, call 775-857-2244. The tapes are $20 each, including shipping.
Since its creation more than a decade ago, the Southern Nevada Water Authority has focused on 3 goals: preserving water quality, improving water conservation in Southern Nevada, and meeting the community's current and future water needs. Through thoughtful planning, responsible management, and collaboration, it's succeeding. As we move into the 21st century, the authority continues to embrace sustainable water development and efficient water use. That's our promise to Nevada.
Reno's best dining values are all at one casino, the Pepper Mill. You can enjoy great savings on our popular specials. Pepper Mill's coffee shop offers daily lunch specials, low-carb dining, and all your favorite comfort foods. You'll find sensational lunch specials featuring Reno's freshest seafood, sushi, pasta, and more at Oceano. And early bird specials at Reno's Premier Steakhouse and Romanza Ristorante Italiano. The best values are at the Pepper Mill. Where are you dining?
Many of the materials we rely on every day come from the ground, and modern mining technology brings them to us cleaner and safer than ever before. To learn more about America's natural resources, visit nma.org, the National Mining Association.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seem to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we're back here talking to Jim Gibson. He's the mayor of Henderson, and he's running for governor on the Democratic ticket.
So one of the issues that has come up already is the abortion issue. And you had stated, and again, this is in Aaron Neff's article, that you would support abortion, in the case of rape, incest, or to protect the life of the mother. And you claimed, though, that you did not have time to fully explain yourself on the television program.
Well,
there you go.
Actually, I answered the question that was put to me. I wasn't asked if I'm an activist. I'm not an activist. I've never been an activist. I have deep personal views about abortion. But the people have voted in the state of Nevada. I would never do anything other than to respect that vote. And when I said in the interview that this was enormously remote. I mean, that's really an understatement.
What, if Roe v. Wade gets overturned?
Well, not only that, that if the governor in the state of Nevada were ever in a position to do anything about it anyway.
Right.
So I think the point I would make is simply that, Governor Miller, Harry Reid, they're Democrats. They share essentially the view I have. And I have no intention of criminalizing abortion. I'm not an activist when it comes to abortion, but my views are held deeply. And that's really all I was saying.
Okay, in Elko, when you announced this, what was quoted by the AP had you painting Jim Gibbons as a tax and spend liberal. How did you figure that?
Well, I didn't ever say he was a tax and
runaway. No, I know.
What
You talked about runaway spending, budget-busting tax breaks for the wealthy. Gibbons is beholden to drug companies, polluters, and other special interests.
Yes, and I'm reacting to his record.
Would you be specific about
surely. I can't give you the bill number, although I'd be happy to supply it to you. But I have read summaries of his votes in Congress, and very clearly today, if you look at the economy in this country, not the engine, but look at the overall economic condition that we're in, and look at our debt, look at our spending, look at the things that we're doing, it seems to me that that is really a lot of spending without resort to where is all this money going to come from.
But, you know, Jim Gibbons, I have to interrupt you just a second. Jim Gibbons is the strongest person in advocating for cutting taxes, for not increased government spending. I mean, that has been his
But he has been voting to increase government
once said to me that sometimes you vote for a bill because even though you have to hold your nose as you do so, that there are a lot of good things in that bill that will benefit the people of this country or the state of Nevada, and you have to sometimes swallow things. So I think sometimes...
well, I'm sure that's the argument on the other side, Sam, but the net of it is, right now we're driving a budget deficit that we've never seen before.
And he would agree with you.
And we are all very concerned about that. And there seems to be very little discussion. In fact, I do not hear any discussion from the congressman about that. What I hear is, what I see is support for everything that comes down the pike that causes us to spend more. Look, I'm a moderate and a conservative in many ways. My views are that we need to be fiscally responsible. I won't argue with someone who is showing himself to be fiscally responsible. My concern is that I'm worried about how on earth we're ever going to get out from underneath the current situation. Now, we can talk about tax relief as being one of the real godsends to the economy. But the problem is, I don't think anybody has ever tested whether that works when you get as far under as we're headed for.
Okay, let me ask you this. You said that basically, hang on a second here, that your leadership would be a stark contrast to the dangerous vision of Jim Gibbons. What is that dangerous vision?
The initiatives that are undertaken day by day that don't cost us anything. The partnering, government to government and government in the private sector, that happen day by day. Those are things that I have led us in Southern Nevada for years.
Yeah, but what's his dangerous vision?
This constant view that we need to make sure that we withhold monies. Let me give you a good example. No one can really argue with the overarching principles of no child left behind. We should not ever leave a child behind. And I don't know whether or not you really can make valid arguments about the tests that are applied to determine whether or not we're really progressing. But if you're going to do that, and if you're going to impose the penalties that are associated with the failure to meet those tests, then there needs to be the funding that was promised that was really originally a part of the consideration of it. Jim voted not to allow that funding to flow. There would have been another $26 million in his congressional district alone if he had done that. And you know what? There are districts in his congressional district that need the money. They need that support. They're all being judged. They're in a position where they can't pay their teachers, just like, frankly, none of us can afford to pay our teachers what they really ought to be making in the current environment. But when you don't support the plan with the money, then my view is you haven't thought it out, and that's dangerous.
Okay, we have to stop it right here, but let's do this. Let's call this Jim Gibson Part 1 and invite you back as soon as you can come back, and let's do Part 2, okay?
Anytime.
Pleasure to have you. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, just 10 minutes east of Sparks. We're proud that Walmart and other Fortune 500 companies have chosen Tahoe Reno Industrial Center to relocate their businesses. We have sites from under 5 acres to well over 500 acres, and with all of the amenities that every successful corporation requires. Welcome to the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the largest industrial park in the world, and we're building economic prosperity for Nevadans.
The Nevada Beer Wholesalers encourages the responsible consumption of beer. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association are sponsors and participants in many community-based efforts such as school education programs, Safe Ride Home, recycling programs, alcohol-free after-prom and graduation parties, safe voting campaigns, and designated driver programs. They are family-owned businesses employing 2,000 Nevadans. They also collect and pay the state excise tax. The Nevada Beer Wholesalers Association, delivering more than just beer.
Northern Nevada is on a roll, attaining top national rankings as a great place to live and do business. How does the region stay on top? The 21st Annual Governor's Industry Appreciation Awards will feature Joel Kotkin, the internationally recognized author who wrote Inc. magazine's story named Reno the best place to do business in America in 2005. Join us November 8th at the Reno Hilton. For tickets, visit www.edon.org or call 829-3700.
The Resort at Red Hawk offers you two great dining choices. Experience David's Grill and Sports Bar or the Steakhouse at Red Hawk. The Steakhouse has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence based on a diverse selection of fine wines. To accompany the wines, the Steakhouse serves certified Angus beef steaks in a variety of cuts, fresh fish, chicken, and pasta dishes. For fun and casual dining, come to David's Grill and Sports Bar. David's is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The Resort at Red Hawk. Always the right choice.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad.
And we are joined by our Power Pundit panel today. Verita Black Prothro, Northern Nevada Director for U.S. Senator John Ensign, is with us. We've got John Gwaltney with the State School Board and Susan Fisher with Fisher Consulting. Okay, people, what did you think about the interview with Jim Gibson?
I think somebody called Central Casting and said, send us a governor. He's got presence. Kitty Glenn
Larry Mathias needs to watch out. You're coming right in here.
Well, he's got terrific presence.
Yes, he does.
He's very calm, cool, and collected. When he answers the questions, he may not give you the answer that you're looking for, or he may not answer it entirely, but dang, he sounds good.
Yeah. But I'm kind of going, where's the substance? I mean, he criticized Gibbons for not fully supporting No Child Left Behind, but he's a fiscal conservative. Of course he's not going to fully fund a program. So, and yet we're seeing fairly good results with what we are getting, as I turn to the school board guy.
Yeah, I think the question of, first of all, how did he do? I thought he did an excellent presentation. When he gets his feet on the ground and truly gets a package of issues that he's thought through and consulted as far as he should, if he stands for criticism at this point, it may be that he shouldn't have gotten in the race until he truly had his feet on the ground on all those issues. However, sometimes gathering the kinds of expertise you need is difficult to do until you have said, I'm a serious candidate. So you almost have to forgive him a little bit for that. The question of whether No Child Left Behind is working or not, the statistics clearly say it's working. Is it working as well and as quick as we'd like? No. Would more money help it? Yes. Those are just straightforward issues to it. Would I like to see more money in it? Yes.
You know, the passion of Dina Titus versus the smoothness of Jim Gibson, I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks before this thing is done. I'm very curious to see, where the debate comes. Verita, I know Senator Ensign is supporting Jim Gibbons in this. How do you view Mr. Gibson painting Jim Gibbons as a tax and spend liberal, essentially? I mean, and in Elko, of all places. I mean, I don't know how many Democrats there were. I think there were probably about 35 Democrats there, and out of those, probably half vote Republican anyway. But what was your thought on that?
Well, certainly Senator Ensign is endorsing Congressman Gibbons, and Congressman Gibbons is a conservative. He's a fiscal conservative, and I think that the record shows that. So. But I thought he did present himself very well.
By the way,
answer to the first question.
Liberty Watch just put out an email that says that the Nevada Bankers Association is endorsing Jim Gibbons.
Yeah, I saw that.
Maybe he'll support that payroll tax reduction back to equalizing. So that's a key. To me, that was a simple question. Mm-hmm. And if you followed the legislature the last two sessions, you saw the controversy that was there, and you saw how the business community was fighting that. And as a pro-business guy like Gibson says he is, to me that was a fairly simple, straightforward question. And I didn't really get the answer I wanted.
You know, the other thing I don't understand is, why is Jim Gibson going after Jim Gibbons instead of Dina Titus? Because we have a primary first, and don't you go on the attack against your opponent?
Well, you should.
But
you would, yeah, except that I think a lot of people think that the race is really going to be between the two Gs, that it's not that
somebody
Dina's
tell
going to
Dina that?
implode.
No.
Yeah.
He's almost ignoring her, which is, you know.
And he can't do that. He can't do that. But and I think that'll be a little bit more defined.
I thought that kind of surprised me too.
Well, that's sort of the name of the game. They all demean each other. You got to build yourself up somehow and present yourself by knocking the other guy down a little bit and saying, here's what I've done, here's what you haven't done.
You know, it's interesting, Verita. I was in Las Vegas and I was asking a whole bunch of people, you know, did they know Jim Gibson and what he does as mayor of Henderson? And they all referred to the mayor as Oscar Goodman.
Well, there is that other big city down there, isn't there? Yeah, it's the second largest city.
It is. It's a big city. That's surprising, though.
How many people around the rest of the state knew Kenny Gwynn before he jumped into the race? Now, he jumped in very early, and he had a very unique way of getting support. He'd say, send me $1. Send me $1. Now, I don't know if a lot of people send him $1, but he got out early, but people up here didn't know Kenny Gwynn.
No, but his grassroots work was just unbelievable.
Absolutely.
I was on a mailing list somehow that got all the local, like, you know, if they have a barbecue in Ely, it was like thanks to Jim and Bob and Pat for bringing the baked beans. I mean, that was the level that they were, literally, they were operating on.
That's a good way to do it in Nevada.
You know, and with $3 million in the bank, you know, that wasn't a bad thing.
And that's one thing that Gibbons is very, very good at also. Is the grassroots.
Absolutely.
He's really good at that.
Well, I can't wait to see the two of them on the same stage because I think that's going to be some interesting fireworks, and I don't think that Mr. Gibson is going to be quite so calm.
Now, when you say the two of them, you mean Dina?
Dina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to deal with the primary first.
But no,
let's go to the general.
Details.
But Susan's right. From a strategic planning point of view, if you position yourself as the competitor against Jim Gibson, see, there we go, Gibbons, then you are assuming, you're telling the voters, I'm going to win this primary. It's a good strategic move to just ignore your opponents.
He is saying it. Dina is yelling it.
Right.
Anyway, it was an interesting article over the weekend on the Clark County School District and the superintendent search. I thought it was quite fascinating, where we've seen Jim Rogers, who owns these television stations upon which this program is broadcast, as chancellor, calling for a superstar to be the head of the Clark County School District. But the tenor of this article certainly suggests that there are no superstars out there. The problems being found in Las Vegas are problems around the country in major urban school districts. John, I'm going to throw this to you, but we've only got about 15 seconds.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, if you're looking for someone who has already run this race and already done this task, no. What's happening in Las Vegas is truly unique in the sense that the number of non-English speaking, the number of the growth, all of those things are unbelievably percentage-wise. First of all, let me compliment Rogers and the university system for getting involved. I believe they're serious about helping public education, and I think that's a real positive step.
Okay, and that's where we got to leave it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this. Sorry about that.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, the world's largest industrial park, the resort at Red Hawk, and the Peppermill family of casinos.
South Reno's hotspot for food, fun, and friends is the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy great food 24 hours a day in the Dining Car Restaurant. For a quick bite and the best sandwiches in town, it's the Whistle Stop Deli. And for the best appetizers and menu selections and a large variety of cocktails, beers, and martinis, it's Sully's Sports Bar, Grill, and Nightclub. The Tamarack Junction is your junction for fun. South Virginia and Monty Ranch Parkway.
Don't forget, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers anytime at NevadaNewsmakers.com.
Well, tomorrow we have George Harris, the Liberty Watch publisher and man about town in Las Vegas.
He's usually pretty quiet, but I think it'll be a great show. See you tomorrow.